fascination with the Haunted Mansion is the development. Incredibly well documented, with lots of scholarship about it. I've struggled in some videos to find basic information about who worked on an attraction. That is not the case here. Every square inch of the mansion has been analyzed and documented by smart people, as well as by idiots with a microphone and too much free time. So, when something previously removed is brought back, people take notice. Thanks to recent developments, I will, of course, be talking about Miss April through December, an original member of the mansion, removed and forgotten, only to be brought back years later to much fanfare. There's gotta be something worthy of discussion there. So, please lean back in your doom buggy as we proceed into the moldering sanctum of the spirit realm once more. We discussed the changing portraits previously in this series, in the Count episode and again in the Medusa episode. You may still be wondering, why are they even here? What significance do they hold? Well, think about it. You see them rather early in your journey. The happy haunts haven't quite materialized yet. You know this place isn't quite right, but it could just be an elaborate prank. That might have been just some fancy smoke and mirrors in the stretching room. After all, ghosts aren't real. So imagine you're walking past a scene of innocuous paintings. Then they suddenly change, from fairly normal scenes to dark and macabre ones. It catches you off guard. You might be quick to dismiss it as your mind playing tricks on you, but puts you in an uneasy mood nonetheless. Perfect way to begin the ride. Miss April, as I will be calling her for short, can be easily tracked in her development. The painting was developed by Mark Davis, of course, and was put into the mansion as is. Though it should be noted that Davis was not the one who painted the original paintings. Instead, many of them were painted by Ed Cohn. He took his own artistic license with Davis's concepts, refining them into something more painterly and classical looking, less illustrative and cartoony, fitting with the aesthetic of the mansion as a whole. The concept behind the painting is fairly easy to grasp. A young woman rapidly ages as months pass, so that by December, she's nothing more than a shriveled old woman, reminding you that beauty fades and we'll all shrivel up and die someday. Memento mori and all that jazz. The painting is kind of a Rule 63 version of the aging-changing portrait, as in, yeah, they're basically the same thing. Though, not to worry, we'll be getting to him another day. Motifs like this have existed for a long time. Long Forgotten managed to dig up some old illustrations from the 1800s that were very thematically similar. And of course you got influence from stuff like Dorian Gray, but again, story for another day. Her painting stood at the very end of the portrait hall, right before you turned a corner into the loading zone. The middle June and September phases were cut, leaving us with just April and December, fading in and out between them. Yeah, a quick error I want to correct from the Medusa video. The paintings just faded in between phases initially. The lightning flashes weren't added until years later. It is still a really unsettling image, seeing a woman just suddenly morph into a decaying husk. It's kind of fitting that that's the last one you see before boarding your doom buggy. Buckle in, folks, because there'll be more of that where that came from. Miss April was eventually retired in 2007, as a part of a massive overhaul to the ride. She would be replaced by the Aging Man portrait, previously only found in Florida and Tokyo. Why? The 2007 revamp at Disneyland and the 2006 rehaunting at the Magic Kingdom made the two versions of the attraction less distinct and more the same. The portrait hallway in Florida was made to look like Disneyland's, the attics were made to be the exact same, the works. So bringing over a very recognizable part of the Florida mansion to Disneyland made sense in that regard. And when it came to moving him in, you would kick out the one portrait that was very similar in concept. You can have your own opinions on the matter, but that's kind of the mindset that I think Imagineering had. However, she can be found elsewhere. Next time you're at Disneyland, head over to Port Royale Curios and Curiosities. Make sure you're looking at the uppermost shelves of the store. You might be able to spot a very tiny print of her. Miss December is a part of the staring portraits at the Tokyo Mansion. Look for her on the left wall. Supposedly she is still in the Florida Mansion, in that little staircase right after you board your doom buggy, according to some sources. I have never been able to spot her, so take that with a grain of salt. And many years ago, Miss June was a part of set decorations in a Pirates of the Caribbean stage show in New Orleans Square. Insert Jean Lafitte reference here. Someone's gotta repurpose Miss September now so the quartet will be complete. As for other media, Miss April hasn't made many other appearances. You can find her in the Fright of Fancy comic, look for her in a painting. She's playable in an old Disney mobile game. And that's about it. Miss April hasn't had the shelf life that a lot of other Haunted Mansion characters have had, which is kind of a shame. She was one of 2 ghosts who were completely removed from the attraction without a trace. And after the Hatbox Ghost was brought back, she sat at her table of 1, scarcely remembered by those who saw her, and never given her proper dues. Until now. In April 2021, she was finally brought back home. With the newest refurbishment of the Disneyland Haunted Mansion, the loading zone got an upgrade. Yeah, you're still boarding in the void of nothingness, but there are a few more decorations, including our long-lost changing portrait. And this time, we got the original intended effect, seeing all the different phases together at last. And there are even some cute little animations to go with it. She's not the only one who's returned, though. Sitting just down the way from her is a statue of none other than the one-eyed black cat. Thanks for waiting to announce that after I made that video, Disney. Regardless, it's a nice nod to the attraction's past. As we have proved many times on this channel, nothing is ever truly forgotten by Disney. Just when you think something is forgotten, it gets referenced, remixed, or brought back entirely. It's nice to see that Miss April has returned home. I hope she'll stay for many years to come. But this is the part where our tour must come to an end. So please sit back in your doom buggy and we will proceed in the next episode. Thanks for watching.